Hello, good morning and good afternoon to all of you. Thank you very much for joining us today. This is our 29th masterclass in the series, and we all welcome you for our masterclass. Today's topic is reduce lockbox fees with data capture AI. And we have with us our masterclass speaker, John Salick. John, I'd like to now welcome you to get started with our masterclass for today.
All right, happy to do so, Akshay. Welcome, everyone. We've got an interesting topic today. And the reason I say that is we're going to explain a technology that can bring about a fairly significant reduction in cost and improvement in efficiency. And of course, those cost savings will reoccur month after month, year after year. And the reason it's interesting is it's a technology that's already up and running. It's not an implementation that's going to take a year or longer. You have to redesign all your processes and everything like that. Now, it's a very targeted application that can bring significant benefits in the short to medium term. So those opportunities I always welcomed because, mounting a major effort over a long period of time is a big deal, requires a lot of resources, a lot of coordination, et cetera, et cetera. So this is quite a bit different from that, and very tactical, and a nice way to start generating results in the near term. So we'll have a quick introduction, and we'll define data capture AI for you. With all these technology terms, different people have different or slightly different definitions. So we're going to start off and we're going to share with you what our definition is. And then let's look at what I would call traditional lockbox service and what it costs. And then we'll see how data capture artificial intelligence, data capture AI can reduce those costs, in some cases significantly. We'll recap the benefits, share with you an interesting customer success story, wrap it up with a conclusion, and then answer your questions. So a quick introduction, I've touched on this a little bit already, but in the last few years, there's been some fairly significant advancements in digital technologies. And as you're also aware, there's been a proliferation and also a strong increase in adoption of what I call the digital payment modes, PayPal, Venmo, Square, digital payment modes that are increasing in popularity. And these two developments have converged to enable a significant reduction in the cost of lockbox services. And really where these technologies are focused is in what we would call information capture. Specifically for cash application, it's capturing the remittance advice that customers send you or should send you after they make a payment or with a payment to instruct you how to apply the payment to their outstanding invoices. So this technology focuses on that remittance information, extracting it, and then quite honestly putting it in a file for further processing. And these technologies basically enable you to avoid or circumvent the lockbox and avoid the resulting fees, as well as bring other speed and productivity benefits. So it's a nice, as I said at the outset, it's a nice technology that is ready to go. All right, so what is data capture artificial intelligence, data capture AI? As most technologies have another name, intelligent document processing is kind of a broader label for this type of functionality, IDP. But what it does is it extracts unstructured data, converts it into a usable format, i.e. structured data, which prepares it for the next step in processing that data. And over time, driven by machine learning primarily, it extracts all the required data and only the required data. So you're not getting any background noise, clutter. You're getting what you need and only what you need. How does it do it? Well, combination of technologies that some of you may know very well, others have heard about and may know a little bit about. First of all, it's the core is artificial intelligence. Some of the other technologies that contribute here are machine learning, which is very important here because machine learning enables the AI digital assistant to learn where the required data is on a customer by customer basis. And that contributes to increasing speed and accuracy. Natural language processing, and even some elements of robotic processing automation, RPA. And what happens here with the data capture? Well, the source documents, which are the payments and the remittance advice, are scanned. The data is extracted. Those documents are then stored digitally, and the data is available 24/7 around the globe. And at the end of the day, data capture AI is faster, cheaper, and more accurate, certainly than having humans read this remittance advice and key it into a file or key it directly into your cash application on your AR ledger. And it's superior to RPA. RPA is limited in how well it works with multiple documents with different formats, unknown formats. RPA is great when it's just designed and restricted to one or two formats and just a few functions dealing with those formats. As we get into this, and I'm sure as most of you already know, the information required for cash application comes in a variety of modes and an almost infinite variety of formats. So the flexibility and capability to handle that variation. What's also nice is the data capture AI can handle multiple languages and currencies. So if you're a shared service operation and your internal customers are operating in different countries with different languages and different currencies, AI can handle that. The data capture can handle that, which is great. A little more detail on data capture AI. As I said, it extracts remittance data from multiple sources. And what are some of those sources? Well, the customer vendor portal, right? That's theoretically the answer. It's got all the information you would ever want about your invoices, the ones that are open and the ones that have been paid. Well, data capture AI can extract that information automatically. Your own EIPP portal, customer visits, makes a payment, and they input what that payment is paying, the remittance data. So boom, you've got it right there. Various files that you get from banks, lockboxes, customers, whatever, coming in different formats, Excel, PDF. Also can extract the data from transmissions, the EDI and BAI transmissions, which many of our clients trade with their larger customers on EDI. So here's a source that carries a pretty high volume of data. AI can handle that. And then also the data capture AI can easily handle the remit advice that comes in with the new digital payment modes, Square, PayPal, and all, which is nice because one thing about these fintech payments is the remit advice travels with the payment. So you got it right there. So Data Capture AI can extract data from all these modes, all these sources, and create a file of the remittance data. Frequently it's a CSV file, but other formats are available. Creates this file of structured data, which then can be run through your cash application engine, generally with better results because of the structured nature of the data. And of course, it integrates with bank lockboxes, your own ERPs, and stuff like that. So that's what Data Capture does. Extracts the information, puts it in a file, boom, ready to go for the next step. All right, well, let's pause for a minute and just think about what I call traditional lockbox service. Basically has two major elements. First one is to receive payments and deposit it in your bank account. Well, let's keep doing that. The more the merrier. Great service. The second one is to create a file of remittance data, which they send to the client, and the client either runs it through their AutoCash engine or, in some cases, have Cash App team members input it and apply it in their AR ledger. So what are the costs here? Well, there's a monthly fee for the lockbox. But the higher fees and the fees that can be reduced are the per transaction fees, scanning of checks and other remit advice and any other documents that come in. And then where the costs can really mount up is if the lockbox keys the data from those remits into a file for you, because they're charged on a per keystroke fee. So if you're getting, payments that, if you're a company that issues a lot of invoices, you're going to have a lot of remit advice coming in, very detailed. And if the lockbox is keying it, there's going to be a lot of keying and a lot of fees. And I think it's particularly painful if you have a lot of low value invoices. We estimate processing costs for a check about $2.50. Well, if that check is paying a $39 invoice, that hurts. Even if it's a $200 invoice, it hurts. So these costs can add up very fast. And, there's certain error rates and disconnect rates and things like that. And a lot of our clients report still having to contact customers to clarify remittance advice. What did you mean to pay here? We don't understand that. But ultimately, what Data Capture AI can do is reduce these scanning and data input costs, these per transaction costs from your lockbox provider. So again, just to be clear here, how does Data Capture AI reduce these lockbox processing costs? Well, basically the answer is to circumvent them, is to receive the remit advice directly and for you to process it without any help from the lockbox. And then you just eliminate those fees. So, and that's very possible today. And already in practice, you get the remit advice directly via EDI. As I mentioned, the new digital payment, the fintech modes provide that. Your customer's vendor portal, your own EIP portal, and some customers will email it. So that's all coming to you, the remit advice. You don't need the lockbox to do anything. The AI assistant extracts the data, puts it in the file, boom, run that file through the AutoCash, and your scanning fees and your keystroke fees go way down. And of course, when this is combined with a change management program to try to convince your customers not to pay by check anymore, to pay by an electronic mode of some sort, those savings can be leveraged even more. And I know those programs are difficult. Customers are reluctant to change, but over time, they can have impact, particularly with the emergence of new payment modes. But there's some other cost reduction opportunities available as well when you use data capture AI. And these can be very significant. And this has to do with automatically applying cash. I mean, several of our clients, a number of our clients have seen significant increase in the auto cash hit rate, and some are hitting the 90% rate. So, if you have 4 people applying cash and your auto cash hit rate gets to 80 or 90%, maybe you can cut the 4 people down to 2. Big cost saving. That reoccurs every year. And it would take a huge increase in volumes for you to have to add back staff. The data capture AI can handle the increases in volume. And they drive this productivity by automating manual tasks. I mean, let's not kind of forget that basic concept, automating manual tasks in cash application. All right, so we've identified 2 significant and in some cases substantial sources of cost reduction from data capture AI and cash application. But let's look at the broader fit here as well. Cash application is one of those, what I call background processes. If it runs well, nobody notices. It just kind of hums in the background. If it doesn't, the application is late or inaccurate, then it causes problems. But that doesn't mean it's easy or simple or doesn't require some effort and scrutiny. So what are some of the challenges that of the cash application process that data capture AI can successfully handle? Well, payments in multiple currencies. Remit advice in multiple languages. I mean, that's pretty good. I can't handle remit advice in multiple languages. Thank God for data capture AI. Integrates with multiple ERPs, which is important because if you're in a centralized cash app function or a shared service, chances are you're working on more than one ERP. I think 90% of the clients I worked with said, oh yeah, we're going to go integrate. Everyone's going to be on SAP in 3 years. Everybody's going to be on Oracle in 2.5 years. I never saw it, So again, I think the reality of the situation is you're going to be dealing with multiple ERPs. And data capture AI can handle that. Also can handle multiple banks and their lockboxes. So again, if you're dealing in multiple economies, you're going to need multiple banks. Also accommodates the new digital payments very nicely. And as I mentioned earlier, it successfully processes the remit advice that come in from different modes. And I've listed them here: paper, EDI, email, downloads, bank files. It can extract data from all of them. And when you think about remit advice, you can probably make an argument that every individual customer's remittance advice is different. So when you get Walmart's remit, your invoice number is in the second column from the left. You get Target's remit advice, your invoice number is the far right column. So there's variation in these formats. And of course, digital capture AI with its machine learning learns this, adapts to the different customer, and again, makes it more successful in extracting all the required data and only the required data. So it can, one of the big challenges of Cash App is the variation in format. And then the last one is adapting to wide variance in customer portals. This one I'm chuckling because, in theory, the vendor portal is the answer. Everything you need to know about your invoices, open or paid, is there on that vendor portal. Yet when we talk with clients, they say, we ask them, oh, are you, getting that information from the vendor portal? And the answer is, well, yes and no. Yes, for their bigger customers with a lot of volume. Not so good with the medium, smaller customers with the lesser volume. We ask them why. We say, hey, everything, this is the answer here. And their reply is, well, it actually takes, due to the variation in these vendor portals and the way they're organized and set up, it actually takes a pretty big investment of time on our people and a frequency of use to become proficient in navigating it. So, we use it for some customers, not others. Well, data capture can adjust to that too and get the information you need there, which is a big plus. Because the vendor portal in concept and in theory is really a wonderful thing. You don't have to wait replies from their customers' AP staff by email, text. You don't have to wait on hold. So to maximize that resource is a big advantage. All right. So what are the benefits? Well, we've been mentioning them throughout our webinar so far. Reduce bank lockbox fees. That, for some companies, that could be the biggest savings. And what's nice about it is that savings reoccurs every month, year after year, till the rivers stop flowing, it just keeps going on and on. So over time, that can accumulate quite a bit. Increase productivity. Here again, if you're heavily manual in your Cash App and or you have a low auto cash hit rate, the digital Cash App can help you raise that hit rate, and that's where you get some productivity. And here again, when you reallocate a person from Cash App to somewhere else, that's a savings in Cash App that reoccurs every month, every year. And as I said earlier, it would require a huge increase in volume if you're using Data Capture AI to have to add back to that step. So those are two solid cost reductions. Another advantage could be, if you're a little slow on applying cash, is speeding up the cash application. And where that's important is for those customers you have on hold, where you hold up every order and you see what their AR status is. And if it's satisfactory, you let the order go through. If it's not, you contact them and say, you got to pay some money before we release this order. Well, that's great when your Cash App records are accurate and up to date. Very embarrassing when you make that call and they say, what are you guys talking about? I made a payment 3 days ago. But your Cash App records don't reflect that. One, it's embarrassing, and two, it really hurts the customer relationship. And then also, since the old, it's a machine doing it, not a person, you pick up some greater accuracy. And for any of you who have had to reverse and reapply a misapplication of cash going back 8 or 9 months, you can appreciate the value here. So it contributes to an enhanced customer experience, which, looking at the bottom chart there, leads to better customer loyalty, market share, increased revenue, and profit. Let me just give you a quick peek here at one of the Amaja client success stories. Global medical products company operating 45 countries, 15 languages, 16 major bank accounts. So when we talk about complexity in Cash App, here's a perfect example. 45, 15, and 16. It's not like just operating within the U.S. One bank, one language, one currency. So a lot of complexity here. They had recently established a global shared service center in Portugal, recapturing it from an outsourcer. And simultaneously, they embarked on a digital OTC transformation. It's a lot to handle. No lack of ambition here at this company. And as part of their solution, they implemented data capture AI assistance. And look at the impact on Cash App, the auto cash from 30 to 70%. Huge. So when you talk about productivity, here it is. You need fewer people on your Cash App team. And you might say, well, 70% is okay. Not great. But yeah, true. But again, when you're operating 45 countries, 15 languages, 16 bank accounts, 70% is not bad. And presumably it will increase over time. And also nice thing is it creates the data capture AI, creates the deduction and routes them to the designated resolver same day. So that gets the deduction resolution process off to a great start. And overall, the cycle time went from several weeks to 1 week. So what's the conclusion here? There's an opportunity out there today, not in the future, today. This technology is up and running, available today. Opportunities substantially reduce cost in your Cash App function using data capture AI. And again, there's the capability to automate most of the manual operations in Cash application. Your questions.
Thank you very much, John. Appreciate that a lot. It was a great presentation again from you. Let's get started with the question. I have the first question. What are the costliest bank lockbox services?
Well, really, the costliest one can be, and usually is, the key punch of the remit advice charged on a per keystroke basis. Again, if you have a lot of invoices, customer, sends in a payment and a remit advice that covers 78 invoices, 300 invoices, and that data is all being keyed, that adds up real quick. The scanning fees can also be a nice opportunity for cost reduction.
All right. The next question that we have here, John, is how do AI document data capture assistants help in reducing bank lockbox fees?
Essentially, you're circumventing the bank. Especially with the new payment modes, the remit advice comes directly to you. You can process that remit advice. You don't need the bank lockbox to process it or build the file. So that's a big advantage, and that's where a lot of the cost reduction comes in.
Okay, we have one more question. Do these cash application modules also include AutoCash capabilities?
Yes. As part of a total cash application module, there is the AutoCash engine, which just makes sense. Because really what the data capture AI is doing for Cash App is just taking all that remittance data and putting it in a nice, neat, structured data file, which is promotes higher AutoCash hit rates. So absolutely, it's peanut butter and jelly. The two go together.
All right, John. Yep. Thank you very much. We are almost on. I'd like to basically thank all the participants over here who have joined us today for this session and then making it much more exciting with some of your questions. Thank you very much for that. And would also like to request you all, in case if you do have any questions, you can send us those questions at info@imagia.com. We'll be happy to respond to those questions. And as we keep progressing on these masterclass sessions, our next session is going to be on 4th of November. The topic for the next session is Boost Order-to-Cash Efficiency with Digital Assistance. And we look forward to seeing you all over there. Thank you very much, all of you. And thank you very much, John.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for attending. And again, any questions, please don't hesitate. Happy to answer them. So long.
Thank you. Thanks, John. Yeah.